What do you actually know about the last thing you searched online? You typed a few words into a box, got your results, and moved on. Simple. But in the seconds it took you to do that, something else happened. Something you did not authorize, did not see, and were never told about. Your search was recorded, categorized, and added to a profile that describes you in ways you would find deeply uncomfortable. And that profile was sold, not hypothetically, right then, to multiple buyers simultaneously. Here is the clue that should unsettle you. Some companies know things about you that you have never told anyone. Not your doctor, not your closest friend, not even your family. They figured it out from your behavior alone. How is that possible? And who exactly is buying this information? Stay with that question. The answer is more disturbing than you expect. Every day you wake up and reach for your phone. You check your messages, scroll through a news feed, search for something, click on a result, open an app, watch a video, and maybe shop for something you were thinking about yesterday. Each of those actions feels personal, private, and contained within your own experience. But none of it is private. Every tap, every scroll, every pause, every search, every purchase, and every moment you spend staring at one image longer than another, is being recorded by systems you agreed to without reading a single word of the agreement. The permissions were buried in terms and conditions that would take the average person over 200 hours to read in full every year. Nobody reads them. The companies designing those agreements know that. So what exactly are they collecting? The answer is not just your name and email address. It is your location every few minutes. It is the rhythm of your typing. It is the list of apps on your device and how long you spend in each one. It is the battery level of your phone, which can be used to infer your emotional state and likelihood of making impulsive purchases. It is the websites you visited before arriving at their page. It is whether you hesitated before clicking or went straight to checkout. It is everything. And the companies collecting this data are not primarily the ones you interact with directly. They are invisible intermediaries operating an industry most people have never heard of, built on the raw material of human behavior. Who are these intermediaries? They are called data brokers, and they sit at the center of one of the most profitable and least regulated industries in the modern economy. You have almost certainly never visited their websites or heard their names spoken aloud. Companies like Axiom, Experian, Oracle Data Cloud, and hundreds of smaller operators work in the background, aggregating information from thousands of sources and building detailed consumer profiles that they sell to anyone willing to pay. Advertisers, insurance companies, political campaigns, employers, and law enforcement agencies have all been documented as buyers of data broker information. How do they get the data in the first place? From everywhere. Every time you sign up for a loyalty card at a supermarket, that purchase history is a data asset. Every time you use a free app, your behavior inside it is being monetized. Every time you connect to a public Wi-Fi network, your device broadcasts an identifier that can be logged. Web trackers embedded invisibly in news articles, shopping sites, and even government pages collect your movements across the internet and report them back to advertising networks that aggregate the information in real time. You are being observed by dozens of invisible systems simultaneously, and the data they collect is being auctioned in automated marketplaces in the time it takes a web page to load. The technology driving this industry is called programmatic advertising, and it operates at a speed and scale that the human brain struggles to comprehend. When you visit a website, your browser sends a signal to an advertising exchange. That exchange runs an auction among competing advertisers, each of whom has been given data about who you are and what you are likely to buy. The winning advertiser's ad is served to you before the page finishes loading. The entire process takes less than 100 milliseconds. In that fraction of a second, your identity has been evaluated, priced, and sold. The ad you see is not random. It is the result of a real-time financial transaction conducted on a profile built from years of your behavior. And the algorithms that analyze this data are not simply looking at what you have done. They are predicting what you are about to do. Retailers have built models capable of identifying major life changes, pregnancy, divorce, illness, job loss, before the people experiencing those changes have told anyone. The data reveals patterns that feel invisible from the inside but are glaring when viewed from outside at scale. A sudden shift in the products you search for, a change in the time of day you use your phone, a new pattern in your location data. These signals are read by machines trained to find meaning in human behavior, and the conclusions they reach are sold as insights to companies who want to reach you at your most vulnerable and most receptive moment. Now consider the scale of what this industry has become. Every single day the world generates approximately 2.5 quintillion bytes of data. That number is so large it is essentially meaningless without context. So consider this instead. 90% of all the data that has ever existed in human history was created in the last 2 years alone. The acceleration is not slowing down. It is compounding. And every piece of that data, every fragment of human behavior recorded digitally, has potential monetary value to someone in this supply chain. The global data broker market is currently valued at well over $300 billion annually. That figure exceeds the GDP of many entire nations. And it is growing at a rate that outpaces almost every other industry on Earth. The companies at the top of this ecosystem, the major technology platforms and advertising networks, have accumulated market valuations that make them among the most powerful economic entities in human history. And the raw material powering all of that value is human behavior. Your decisions, your habits, your fears and desires translated into data points and traded without your meaningful knowledge. Which industries depend on this information? The obvious answer is advertising. But the reach extends far beyond marketing. Insurance companies use behavioral data to assess risk and set premiums. Financial institutions use it to make lending decisions. Healthcare companies use it to target people at moments of medical anxiety. Real estate platforms use it to identify buyers before they know they are ready to move. Employers have been documented purchasing data profiles of job applicants to supplement traditional screening. Political campaigns build voter models from commercial data to identify persuadable individuals and craft messages designed for their specific psychological profile. The data economy is not a side feature of modern life. It is the invisible infrastructure running underneath almost every significant decision made about you by an institution. Now return to the clue from the beginning. Some companies know things about you that you have never told anyone. Not from data you provided directly. From behavior alone. Does that feel different now that you understand the machinery behind it? Think about the last time you were surprised by an advertisement. Not annoyed. Surprised. The product was something you had thought about but never searched for. You had mentioned it in a conversation. Or perhaps you had simply been near a shop that sells it. And then you saw the ad and something shifted in your stomach. A feeling that something was watching. That feeling is not paranoia. It is perception. Because the systems that drive this industry have moved beyond tracking what you do. They are now using acoustic data, movement patterns, proximity signals from Bluetooth and location tracking, and even metadata from photographs to make inferences about your life that no single data source could reveal alone. The combination of these signals creates something more revealing than any direct confession. And this combined profile, this composite portrait of who you are and what you want, is what sits behind the clue. You never told them, but they know. Here is what is really happening. The internet you use every day is not a communications network with advertising attached. It is an advertising network with communications attached. Every free service you use, every platform that does not charge you a subscription, is operating on a model where your data is the product being sold. The moment you understand that, everything reframes. The free email service, the social media platform, the search engine, the map application, all of them are instruments of data collection first and services second. The value they provide to you is the price they pay to access your behavior. And the clue, the knowledge these companies have that you never gave them, comes from inference. They do not need you to tell them your income bracket if your spending patterns reveal it. They do not need you to disclose your health conditions if your search history implies them. They do not need your political beliefs if your media consumption encodes them. The data does not describe you. The algorithm interprets you. And interpretation at this scale and this depth is worth more than any directory of names and addresses ever could be. You are walking through a world that has been designed to observe you. Every time you reach for your phone, you are generating value for systems that have calculated your worth down to fractions of a cent per impression. The economy that runs on your data is larger, more sophisticated, and more deeply embedded in daily life than almost any other industry. And it operates in near total invisibility. So here is the question you should be sitting with right now. If your data is worth billions to the companies that collect it, what exactly are you getting in return?